only a minute 30 in.
Are we live?
Say 3, 2, 1 live, and then I'll just hit refresh on my end to make sure we're live on YouTube. I'll give you like a thumbs up, and then I'll.
Okay. How we going, buddy? Boop.
We're live, boys.
Yeah, I like it. I like to hear that. I like to hear that we're live here. Welcome to the YouTube Live. Thank you for coming over from Gas Digital, checking it out. You guys like YouTube so much that we're doing it again this time. Appreciate you making the trip over here. Mickey.
I'm cool with it.
I'm all right with it, brother.
I'm all right with it.
We got a new producer. We got a new producer in here for the first time. People are checking out a guy named Christian. What's up, Christian? We got a new producer over here.
What's up, guys?
We're just running through them.
We got Christian running through producers. Omri is joining us from the road. Omri, where you at right now?
Oh, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm still at gas.
Oh, well then I have been misinformed.
Oh, what, you going to
I'm
West
fake
Coast?
News. Yeah, he's
we
going
talk
out.
at
He's
the
going
same
out
time.
there.
It's getting crunchy.
Yeah, we're getting pop, snap, crackle,
Yeah.
poppy here. Well,
But
I am the Thicky Smalls.
Oh, yeah,
The funniest name you never
intro.
The artist formerly known as Gerard Michaels, and to my left, at 6'3", 200 pounds, and every single one of them is a problem.
Wow, you're so gracious the way you just brush over your intro.
You're getting,
I get that
and you're getting
intro.
cut up again here, bro. It's fun watching you get back into shape here, get back into fighting shape, getting after it in PT. It's the tamer of punks, the master of sages, the king of the ring, Big Papa Daddy Vindaloo, the great one, Nicky Gall.
I liked the intro until you added that last part. Now it's like I got real mixed feelings on it. But yeah, welcome back, G. You were up in Daytona this
Daytona
weekend.
Bike Week, man.
Yeah.
Daytona did a gig up in Daytona Bike Week.
How was it?
It was great. It was not what I expected it to be. It was like white trash ShangriLa.
Okay.
But it was very diverse. It was much more diverse
What's
than I expected.
ShangriLa? Was that like a
don't know.
hotel?
It's like
Is that a fancy hotel?
It's like a hippie way of saying heaven.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hippie
It's
heaven?
it's like a, you know what it was? I'm popping heavy in the microphone. Forgive me, folks. You know what it was? It's cool, but it seems like it's something that was way cooler like 25 years ago. It seems like the
Daytona
same
Bike Week?
people have been coming for like 25 years.
Daytona Bike Week?
Yeah, it's a situation where like it's really cool people, but it's almost like a détente. It seems like it's like, you know, cops and outlaws come together and they have this like weird love.
That's like a truce, right?
Yeah, it's I could have easily said truce, but I wanted to be a douche. It's a détente.
Yeah, Shangri-La and a détente.
I'm coming in hot, baby.
Yeah, I see it. We got a lot of French here. I didn't realize. I don't think anyone realizes this is going to be a bilingual podcast.
I don't know if Shangri-La is French, but oui.
It isn't?
Yeah.
Shangri-La?
Shangri-La? I think Shangri-La is
We got to check on that.
I think it's the sub-Asian continent somewhere.
It could
Shangri-La.
definitely be Asian.
Yeah, I think
Shang.
it's some.
But then the
Asian.
La is what got
I
me.
think it's more like Indian Shangri-La.
I won't go to Indian with you.
No?
And I'm Big Daddy Vindaloo.
You're the Big Daddy Vindaloo.
I'm the authority on the subject.
Yeah, I can't walking into the condo last night after 3 days on the road, and it's just stinking like goat curry. I said, "Oh, my boy was hungry."
Yeah, you know, I had to do it. I had to do it. Had to do it.
It was fun though, man. It was fun. I want to give a huge shout out to TNT baseball tournaments. Got to play a little baseball. Got to meet a couple guys. Really, really a lot of fun.
Who was the coolest guy you met? Let's give him a shout out.
There's
Since
a lot
we're
of
throwing around shout outs.
There's a lot of really cool guys, but Turtle.
Yeah, we're not gonna sing.
Turtle is the guy. Turtle, David Dolgan. Turtle, who runs the tournament, is one of the coolest guys of all time. This guy was selling Quaaludes in Studio 54 back in the day, and now he's like a...
I thought you were going to say he was selling Quaaludes at the Daytona Bike Week. I was like,
No.
yo, those still exist?
Yeah, no, he was talking
I was
about...
like, he got some fucking lemons, still got his hands on them, or what?
We got to get him on the pod. This guy's lived some life, and then he got married, and the woman straightened him right out. He got married 6 weeks after he met this woman on a blind date.
Nice.
Yeah, and
when you know, you know.
Straightened his life all the way out. Turtle's got some story, man. He's talking
For real?
about he's doing these things called skin poppers with John Belushi. It's where you take, according to him, it's where you take cocaine and heroin, put it in a hypodermic needle, and then put it like right under the skin. You inject it not into the vein, like under the skin, so it slowly seeps into you throughout the night.
Huh.
And he
so
says
like a subcutaneous. Would that be?
Oh, now subcutaneous ShangriLa.
That's at least English, bro.
I think it's Latin.
Subcutaneous.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's Latin derivation.
These are all they're all Romance languages,
these
bro.
Are all,
they all come from the Romans.
We're real Roman in here. But yeah, so and he says that's what killed Belushi. Not like, they
skin popping?
Yeah, these like skin poppers that the dude was doing.
Why would that kill him? He had a heart attack at the Hotel Marmont. More French.
Was it the Chateau Marmont?
The Chateau Marmont.
I'll have a bottle of
There's
Chateau
clearly
Marmont.
a theme going on here today.
Yes, you cannot trust the French.
Yeah.
That's the theme here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think because it seeps into your skin slowly. I guess he wasn't
seeps in your bloodstream? Because you're already popping it in your skin, I'd imagine.
So, yeah, it seeps into your bloodstream slowly. And I guess he wasn't feeling what he wanted to feel, so he got those rookie numbers up.
Yeah. And then we got to beef up those numbers.
And all at once.
Yeah.
Which is why, on a whole different level, I don't like edibles. Because I feel nothing, and then I feel everything.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that's why you don't like injecting shit.
I'm not big on injections.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, when we were discussing on the PBD podcast, we were discussing, like... whether we should or shouldn't take the vaccine. And for the record, I will say, humbly, I was right about fucking everything.
Yeah.
2 years of nothing but fucking W's for the kid over here, all right? The rest of you can S my D. I'm sitting on dubs, all right? But the great Phil Heath was to my left, and he was talking about how it doesn't make sense with the spike proteins. And I turn to him and I go, and this is a guy who's not afraid of injections.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Phil wasn't so happy.
Yeah.
But I feel like you'll be happy to hear the story's been told again.
Yeah. Thrilled.
Yeah, man.
Stupid.
He was just out there at the Arnold Classic. He was chilling with, it's so funny, man. You're sitting here, you become friends with guys, and they just become normal human beings, and you forget, like, dude, this is one of the greatest bodybuilders that ever lived, and he's just sitting there having dinner with Arnold, like, NBD, just 14 Mr. Olympias, chilling at the table right there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty dope, man, if you think about it.
They're all just men, though. We're all just men. All
just
people.
Men. Well, I would never go so far as to assume his gender, but yeah.
Right. True.
Yeah. I mean, it's
we're all just human beings.
We're all just human beings.
Is that still,
you know who's not a human being?
Up? Who?
Your boy Big Swarm. Linton Cell.
Linton.
Just
Linton
absolutely manhandled that dude. 18-1, that guy?
Something like that. I don't know. I just know we're all freaking happy for Linton. He's going to be fighting Ryan Bader now for the Bellator heavyweight championship.
That's going to be some fight.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's coming into his prime at, like, what's he, 39?
39.
Coming into his prime.
That's very common with heavyweights and like upper weights. Right. I find heavyweights especially, they age kind of like fine wine. You know what I mean? Like they get, like, you see heavyweight champions in like their 40s.
Yeah.
You know?
Foreman.
Yeah, but I guess in all combat sports, but I'm talking MMA specific. Around, like, I would say around like 37 is like the start of the heavyweight prime.
Interesting.
So like that 37 could go to like 41, and then they could still have years after that, you know? Mm-hmm. Where I look at like my division, like probably like 34, 35 is like the start of like the prime.
And why do you
see most of those guys?
Why do you think that is? You think it's a cardio thing?
I think you've accumulated enough technique and training. You've come into your body. You know what I mean? You're at your prime strength, your prime everything. You're not at that point where you're starting to, you're overdone and broken down. You know, I think it's a lot of just, hitting those, have been doing it for, 10, 15 years. Yeah. Some 20 more. You know what I mean? Whatever people. So I think it's the accumulation of hardwired techniques plus, comfortability, ring time, all that stuff.
So if you play your cards correctly, you can kind of have almost two different primes and two different weight classes, it seems like.
You could. Yeah. That's
You're looking at like
point.
a John Jones situation.
Absolutely.
Remember Roy Jones Jr. back in the day?
Sure.
Went up to heavyweight, beat John Ruiz.
James Toney. That's another one.
James Toney.
Yeah.
Evander Holyfield, cruiserweight to heavyweight.
Yeah.
I mean, as you get older, you get strong. Like, I'm stronger now than I pretty much have ever been in my life. But if I had to cut and maintain a cut, that would be incredibly difficult.
Sure.
When you're younger, you just the weight just really does just peel off you. You give it a good 3 weeks, and you just, I guess the older you get, that does become more difficult. Maybe that takes too much out of you training to get all the way down there.
Yeah.
I mean, being around you guys as much as I have, the science and the methodology behind these weight cuts is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
These guys that walk around 40, 50 pounds heavier than they fight at, and then I'm like, man, that's a hell of a fucking fight to get down to your weight.
That reminds me, another guy who got a nice win this weekend was Impa.
Oh, huge win.
Who's another great person as well, just like Linton is. But Impa went up. He used to fight at 170. He fought at 205.
Wow.
And knocked this guy out.
Knocked him out.
Yeah.
And now
I was in the gym today.
He did so well. He's got April 1st. They gave him another one.
Is that right?
He told me that he's going again April 1st.
He's trying. Yes, he wants to stay active.
Hey, stay hot, babe.
Yeah.
It's like when you're on a heater, you want those cards to come out.
Yeah, you want them paydays.
Come on, baby.
You want all that good stuff.
Flip those cards.
Yeah,
let's go.
Let's go. So
Prize
yeah, I'm excited
fighter.
for him.
Yeah, man. I'm so fascinated by the methodology behind it. Like some guys, they cut all the way down, and you can see like they're just sucked out. They have no energy, nothing. Other guys, they look so much bigger than the other guy, and they're confident because they're so much bigger. And it's there just doesn't seem to be a right way or a wrong way. It's almost very trial and error,
person to person basis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some guys, it's better. Like Rashad Evans, he liked being smaller as a heavyweight because he thought his cardio was better and he thought he was faster.
Speed. Yeah.
And I guess at some level, look, if you're 225, you're throwing hands just fine. It's not like the 265 is going to hit that much harder, is he?
Yeah.
That he is going to hit that much harder?
The 265 compared to what?
225?
You don't know. I mean, it's 40 pounds of extra weight behind the shots, but, I think like take it like someone like Linton, where he's like, what was he, like 240?
Yep.
That's a nice spot.
Well, that's what he said.
But I also think if you I think there's going to be some guys who are going to have where eventually I think heavyweight might be guys who cut down from like 285, and you know what I mean, and like but they're like that. They're like that perfect specimen at 285 where they're big, they're fast, they got great cardio. You know what I mean, like all that. That's probably going to be I would say that's kind of the next prototype, like the evolution, like some a NFL DN type who can stay lean and has all the skills and the techniques that back it up.
That explosive power.
Yeah.
So like a Brock Lesnar walking around at 315, cutting down to 265.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. That's a little bit of a lot,
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Why do they make it? Why isn't it just open weight? Why do they still have a weight limit on heavyweight? Do you think?
I don't know. I wonder how because how many guys are at that weight that are like I'm all for like a no limit, like just a super whatever you want to call that, super weight division, whatever, no limit. But I don't know how many guys you have could fit a division that could actually train and or who will have the cardio, and be able to put on it won't just be looking sloppy out there.
I actually think you'd have more. I think it would be more attractive to college offensive and defensive linemen to make the transition. Guys who didn't get drafted. I think it would be more. I think it would be more attractive if they didn't have to lose 50 pounds to compete.
Sure.
I think if it was open weight and like you said, let it happen organically. They're going at 320 and they're like, man, I can't roll for 5 minutes at 320.
Yeah, so they got to get down to fucking.
They'll get down to 280. Yeah, it'll happen
yeah.
organically.
Yeah.
But I think it would be more attractive to those athletes if
I agree
to compete. I can compete tomorrow, but I got to lose 50 pounds.
Right.
That's a lot. Especially if they're still trying to keep the dream alive of making
playing
it
ball.
Now that they can play ball in the USFL or the XFL, and they got to they have to maintain that body weight.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of those guys would, I see those guys looking at you guys in the gym. Those guys, they want to test their competitors. They want to test their metal just like anybody else does.
You see some 320s
walking
around there?
Yeah, 315 easy.
Yeah.
That one dude, big country from, I forget his name, from Michigan State.
Okay.
That's 6'6", 6'7". That's 315 easy and lean.
Yeah.
315.
No, I'd be all for it. And as a viewer, like a fan, who wouldn't want to see that? We all want to see the biggest, baddest dudes.
You want to see the big guys.
Yeah.
And I think you get, I'm obviously partial to it, but I think you'd get a lot of, like who beat Brock Lesnar twice? Brock Lesnar lost twice in college.
Yes, I do.
Super Bowl champion.
Is it Stephen Neal?
Stephen Neal.
Nailed
Look at you go.
Yeah, he played for the Patriots.
Yeah, became never played in college. He was such a good wrestler, never played in college. And then.
Was he a guard?
Yeah, he became an all-pro guard.
Yeah.
That dude is just that dude just understands body and balance more than anybody on earth,
Yeah,
nobody
leverage.
knows.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Now take Stephen Neal and you tell him he's a big old boy. Vince Wilfork. Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
I would love to see
it.
I would love to see these guys bang.
For sure.
But they gotta get down to 265.
And they gotta get their cardio up.
Yeah.
Because a football play, that's not so long.
Yo, by the way, Warren Sapp might be my favorite Instagram account.
He's one of the best.
He's playing pickleball. He does Sapp be fishing. He's on his goal is to like do every leisurely activity in retirement possible.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he's living a good life, huh?
And he has a couple beers, and he watches his Buccaneers on Sunday.
Talk some shit.
And he does
flames people. Doesn't let anybody off the hook. Warren Sapp's an OG, man.
Well, how is Warren Sapp getting the all-22 is what I want to know. Warren Sapp's getting the coach's foot. I wonder if the coaches are sending him the footage like, hey, tell Devin White he needs to.
Light a fire under his butt.
Tell Devin White he needs to, cover the tight end flat, please.
Yeah, he ripped him, huh?
Oh, my God. I told him I'd rip
so
the
this is a
C
captain?
off.
This is a captain?
I'd rip the C
this
off
is your captain?
jersey.
This is what your captain do?
You need to look at the history of the Tampa Bay Bucks. You play in the same
That's
position.
That's one of the best defenses ever then back in the day. I'd take that over the 2001 Ravens.
You know you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. With John Lynch, with
Derek Brooks,
yep. Warren Sapp,
Rondé
Barber,
Simeon Rice.
Yeah, that was a defense.
That was a tough team.
I don't know the year though. Was it like 2007? Something like that.
No, they were like 2000. I think, or no, 2000 was the Ravens. They were 2001, 2002. Warren Sapp talking all that shit about Michael Strahan.
What was he saying about old Mikey?
Doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Got the fake sack record.
Simeon
Rice was a better player.
Because Favre kind of folded on that last one.
Yeah. Warren Sapp
kind of gave it up.
Not a big Strahan guy. Yeah. Says if Michael Strahan plays in Green Bay, nobody knows his name. Simeon Rice is
Hey, better. Boys. We got questions from the chat. It's our 15-minute check-in. You want to hear them?
Yeah, of course.
Well, since you interrupted us, of course.
Yeah, I just love football.
Good.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Do they not have the NFL in Tel Aviv, Omri?
No, they do not. Thankfully, that means my Sundays could be free of 4-hour games that go nowhere.
You don't like football?
No, I don't like football.
How do you not like football?
I didn't grow up with it.
Football's great. Football's simulated war.
All right. Well, in fairness to Omri, there's not a lot of Israelis in the NFL, so it's tough. To, representation matters.
No Jewish linebackers, Mick.
Football's a beautiful game.
Although there was a Jewish quarterback in Miami named Jay Fiedler. Yep.
Well, we get one in every sport.
Yeah, and Rosen, one of the biggest draft busts of all time. You got that.
There you go.
Josh Rosen.
Okay. Questions from the chat, though. I got 2 questions from Mickey. One is from me, and one is from our good friend Wrecking It. The question from me is, Mick, would you enter an open weight Grand Prix kind of like the way Pride did it back in the day? And the second question from Wrecking It is, essentially, I'm about to put my young child into jiu-jitsu training. What should I expect, and how could I help push them forward when they inevitably get their ass beat at some point?
Well, that's good for your character, getting your ass beat. But I imagine, most kids' programs are going to kind of take them along. They're going to teach them some techniques, some discipline. There's going to be a lot of, good stuff to go along with that. So I wouldn't worry about that. When they get to that point, I guess it's that's when you got to, kind of be the dad and let them know it's this is that, it's a good thing. I remember starting jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu is about leverage and technique. I would get tapped out 8-10 times in the class, and I'd be psyched, because I know that just like that it was temporary, Now I'd kill for those days. You know what I mean? That's great stuff. Getting submitted. That's how you learn. You as a white belt, that's where you develop your technique. And also one more thing. It's like there's not real like cost to it. You get tapped out in the gym. It's like you're in an arm bar, you tap out. It's like hitting the reset button on a video game. It's like virtual reality. Now you get to go fight again. You get choked. All right, I'm gonna get choked. Tap, do it again. You know, it's there's no cost to it really. You just got to check your ego a little bit.
In a weird way, when I first started doing it, and then I got good, and I would start running through everybody in class. I hated the class. I wanted to find another gym where, you know,
you'd get challenged.
I'd get challenged, and I enjoyed. You know, it's not that nobody enjoys getting their ass kicked, but I enjoyed the challenge. I enjoyed the competition. It's not about, you know, it's almost like a rush. It's that's the adrenaline aspect. It's like, oh, this guy's got me. Can I get out? You know, you get to a certain level with your kind of home gym if you're in like a smaller gym where, you know, if you're pretty athletic and pretty smart, you can figure it out pretty quickly.
You can, but also there needs to be a difference between like training to win and training to like learn, which a lot of people don't grasp.
Interesting.
Because you can go in there and like try and shell up and, you know, barely do anything and survive around, or you can take chances, you know, see where, all right, I did this, I got swept, or I did this, I got submitted. All right, next time I'll be a little smarter, but you can still develop your tools and your game around that. And the second part, I would, if I'm a prize fighter, if the money was right, I would of course do an open weight thing. That'd be fun.
Well, you'd be one of the perfect guys for that because you have the size to be able to handle bigger guys,
right?
But you also have the cardio to stay with the smaller guys. Like,
right.
I think at a Grand Prix, you know, everybody thinks the big guy has the advantage.
205, 210.
Yeah, it's the middleweights that really are ready to rock and roll. The guys that can not get crushed but can also keep up.
Yeah,
you know, like a George St. Pierre would have been like a perfect Grand Prix fighter. I feel like, you know, well, John Jones. I mean, you're talking about the greatest of all time. I would be interested to see like a guy like Khabib in a Grand Prix because he's on the smaller end. Like, could a 155er really? Could he do that style of fighting against?
Only one way to find out. Gotta make it happen.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. I saw when we posted the. This thing, actually, I was going to tell you. We posted the thing about how, and I told you, I wrote this thing about, I said about how John Jones was surprised, just like everyone was, that he finished it that quickly.
Yep.
And, like, John Jones later that week, he said the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? He was like, because he was just following the game plan. He did, like, like I was saying, it was like a chess match. Like, he followed the game plan here. It was there. He went for it, ended up going down. Mm-hmm. It was funny because some kid like commented, it was like Mickey Gall needs to shut up. It was like he's just trying to like nitpick on John. First of all, I was giving him props. Yeah. Right. Yep. I was just saying how I was given a high level like analysis on the fight and how actually fighting works. Mm-hmm. He was like, you shouldn't comment. He was like throwing shots like, lesser fighters commenting about John Jones and are nitpicking. First of all, I wasn't nitpicking. I was just I was giving the reality of a fight and a game plan and things. And two, my analysis this motherfucker shouldn't be commenting on anything because my analysis went over his head. Yeah. He doesn't know enough about fighting to even understand what was being said there.
Welcome to the internet, bud.
I know, so many dummies, bro.
So welcome to the
funny.
internet. I'd be right. I'd be right about saying something. I'm like, the government's fucking up here. This is going to cause inflation. Yeah. And 3 weeks later, a commenter would be like, I'd be like, hey, whatever happened to commenter XYZ who said that this wasn't going to cause inflation? And then they'd get in the comments and be like, well, you're still fat.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, well, you got me there. Yeah. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I guess so. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, inflation.
Yeah.
We dodged a bullet. Speaking of, we dodged a bullet this morning. We dodged a bullet, but I'm
You talking about the
U.S. and the world economy dodged a massive bullet this morning. So
because of the bank thing?
There's been a run on banks, plural.
The Silicon Valley thing?
Silicon Valley Bank. They went under. They actually were halted and seized by the government, the FDIC, because there was a run on their holdings, And this is after, FTX we went over. FTX went down. That was a crypto holding with Sam Bankman-Fried.
Right.
And then there was another exchange that went down. And then there was a bank that backed those exchanges, Silver Trust, if I remember correctly, went under. This causes contagion because these banks all interbreed with one another. They get money from one another.
Borrow money back and forth.
I give you this money, you give me that money. We get, so. And something similar happened in 2008 with Lehman Brothers going under, causing a cascade where AIG was then pulled under by Lehman Brothers, and then we got the too big to fail 2008 jam.
Yeah.
Which still I don't think most people in this country really know what happened. They've seen The Big Short or they've seen Too Big to Fail. But it's it's more boring than it is complicated. When it comes to these things, it's really not that complicated. They act like, they use these legalese terms, credit swaps and, back securities, and everybody's like, that's way over my head. It's really not. They do that on purpose. But what happened in 2008 was, this idea of changing capitalism forever into this kind of grotesque profit incentive. And I'm a huge capitalist, but there's a grotesque profit incentive for our banks and our government right now, where they privatize all profits and they socialize all losses. Meaning whatever money the banks make on these bets, they keep. Them and their shareholders keep those profits. But if those bets go belly up, the taxpayer has to pay the bill. And even though I think the Biden administration did the right thing by securing the deposits of the people in SVB, there's just no incentive.
Now, aren't a lot of people losing a lot of money, though? Aren't, like, people
Investors
whose money
will lose money.
I think people who's put their money in there, and I have a good family friend who like is dealing with this right now because he like put investors there and had like people putting their money there, and they would only get like let's say they would only get like 3% of their money back. So they could, let's say they had millions in there. They're only getting I think the government's only giving like 3% back.
We have to be clear. There's two different things. There's depositors, people that are actual customers of the bank.
Okay.
And
so the customers aren't getting screwed.
No, the customers are not getting screwed. The customers they were already insured by the FDIC up to $250,000.
Okay.
But now the government came out today, and this is why the market's going up. If they didn't do this, the market would be in an absolute flux. The market would go way, way, way. It would have been a massive crash. So it's good that they did this. And they said the government is going to insure every depositor. So if you deposited $10 million for your company in SVB, the government's going to back it up. They're going to liquidate SVB and their holdings and their assets, and they're going to get the money back through that. Now, if you're an investor in SVB, if you had been buying into their bank stock or if you had been buying their bonds or their products, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But that's the market.
So baby. Are they the ones who are going to get 3%?
I don't think they're not going to get anything.
Oof.
They're going to get nothing.
Oof.
They're going to get whatever they were able to sell at whatever. Damn. And, now their beef is that trading wasn't halted quickly enough that the stock was allowed to drop 80%, that they didn't. Hey, that's the market, kid.
Yeah.
That's the market. In 2008,
that's taking a loss.
My father had lost 10 years of savings and earnings in 36 hours.
How?
So what they did to incentivize talent back then is they gave people, you know what a draw is? Have you ever heard of a draw?
Yeah.
So a draw is a salary you have to pay back. Basically, it's so in these high commission jobs, insurance sales, trading, these massive commission jobs, your salary, they'll either give you salary up front and then you pay back the salary through your commission, and anything above the commission you keep. That's called a draw. Or the way that they would get around taxes and incentivize talent would say, instead of a draw, we could pay you in options, meaning stock in the company. So if you worked for AIG, you could make $50,000, right? Or they'd say, hey, instead of $50,000, the company has to actually pay you. Why don't we give you $75,000 worth of stock options?
Right.
So
if you keep taking those stocks and then the stock crashes, you can end up with.
But it was AIG. The stock should never crash. It's like betting against the United States government.
Yeah.
And then AIG crashed.
And then it crashed.
And now
then your father lost 10 years of choosing to take the stock option rather than.
Correct. But not just him,
money.
Everybody else.
Sure.
Because it was an idiot test. Who wouldn't take more money in an unassailable stock?
Yeah.
Right? And then other people were like, well, all he had to do was hold on to the stock. And a year later, he would have recruited. You got a wife, you got kids, you got a mortgage. You got to sell. The stock's worth $28 a share and it goes down to 7 cents. You got to sell somewhere along there. Nobody's holding on to that shit. Guys killed themselves.
Sure.
And then the CEO got a golden parachute, like a $25 million fucking walk away. $25 million to the CEOs. 1.6.
But all the workers got nothing.
Nada.
Yeah.
Enron. Do you remember Enron?
Sure.
So this is what I talk about when I say that they privatize profits, but they socialize losses. The people take it on the fucking dick both ways.
Or on the chin.
The dick. It's a kick in the dick. This is not a...
Would you rather be kicked in the dick or the balls?
I'd rather be kicked in the dick than the balls. All right, it's a kick in the balls.
All right.
Straight up.
Now I got it.
It's a kick in the dick and balls.
Yeah.
It's a fucking
The whole package.
It's a full cunt punt.
Yeah.
The whole way. 2 steps into it, too.
Yeah, right in the basket.
So, I think what we're at hazard of here, moral hazard, is even though I think the Biden administration did the right job, the right thing by coming out and immediately saying depositors are going to be insured, because you don't want to run on every fucking bank. If the Biden administration came out today and said, you guys are on your own, you made your decisions, which is the libertarian view, by the way.
Right.
This is where I deviate a little bit because I do live in the real fucking world. Everybody in every bank in America would be like, all right, give me my money right now.
So the administration took the side of the little guy, so to speak.
It took the side of the corporations.
Today?
Yes. It took the side of the big corporations. Because it's the big corporations that...
But I thought it was the depositors. Isn't that the people?
Yes, it is, but it's the corporations.
Okay.
Right? Because Wells Fargo is having liquidity issues. And if you're if you bank at Wells Fargo and you just saw SVB go down, the first thing you should have done is gone to your bank at 9 o'clock this morning and say, money, please.
Yeah.
All my money back.
Yeah.
Please and thank you. I'll take that back. And it only takes...
So people are leaving their money in because they know it's being insured.
Because they know it's being insured. Correct.
Okay.
Not only that, but it's a huge signal to the rest of the market that the rates are going to start going down. That the Fed has pushed it as far as they can push it. Banks are starting to fail. The money's too expensive. And the rates are going to go down. Now, if the rates go down, what happens to inflation? We don't know.
No bueno.
We are in a fucked economy. It's fucked.
So what's it going to take to shake us out of it? Or
war.
Fix it? With who? Military-industrial complex?
How cynical do you want me to be right now?
How cynical? I want solutions.
They want people to die, bro. Less people to feed, more supply. There's too many mouths. There's not enough jobs. I disagree with this worldview, but this is what they think.
Right.
All right. There's not enough protein across the world. There's not enough clean water. There's too many mouths to feed. There's not enough jobs. The technology is outpacing the need for labor demands, right? And we've been on credit. Everybody's been on credit. They shut the world down for 2 fucking years. This was always going to happen. Now it's like, dude, it's a fucking house of cards. It's a house of cards that's on a table made out of toothpicks. It's just going to take one thing. They're trying to dig themselves out of the hole that they dug everybody. But then you have the other people, and now, blood in the water situation. China sees that the U.S. economy is fucking a tinderbox, and they're going into Russia, trying to broker a peace between the Ukraine and Russia. China just brokered a peace between Saudi Arabia and Iran.
Well, how do they benefit from that?
Oh, we don't know yet. But I bet you it has to do with the Silk Road that they're trying to build from China through the Middle East into Africa. That's the shit a world power does. Omri, go ahead.
I'd say that in a very direct way, it leaves the U.S. out of these things. And there's always hidden agendas in these things where, like, you know, now when two countries are at war, they're not asking the U.S. to broker them. They're asking China, and that's a lot of soft power.
It's more than that. You're right. But it's more than that. It's who bankrolls the peace.
So China's bankrolling it.
Who bankrolls the peace? To the victor goes the spoils.
So they're not just like consulting on it. They're like,
no, nobody does anything for free, even the commies. Right. Hey, maybe the world currency should be our currency instead of your currency. It's a big deal. It's a huge fucking deal. It's a big deal. These things are very, very high level things, and they're happening very, very quickly. And, you know, our country is concerned about the wrong things. You know, we're bragging about, you know, we're sitting here talking about, you know, these diversity initiatives when we should be really focused on competence right now. Like, organic diversity is a great thing. Inorganic diversity is fucking bad. You need the best people in the world doing these jobs. Right? So there's nobody that's going to say diversity is a bad thing. Right? But inorganic diversity, remarkably bad thing. When every other country is just getting their best and their brightest to do the fucking very important jobs, and we're looking for people who fit a fucking, you know, a certain demographic instead of a certain
just
aptitude.
Use the best of the best. Yeah.
That's not great.
Yeah, it's not so good.
That's a bad strategy in a very volatile geopolitical marketplace, right? Like, imagine in your world, right, where it's like, you got to be the best fighter in the world. Otherwise, somebody could literally fucking kill you. But it's like, hey, but we also need to make sure that we have this representation. And you're taking the 250th best fighter in the world and putting them up against number one because, you know, hey.
Right. They're trying to hit a different demographic.
Yeah, we haven't had a French bisexual heavyweight champion yet, so we have to make sure.
So we're gonna fast track this dude.
We're gonna fast track. Yeah. You know, we haven't. Yeah, we haven't had a. We haven't had a. I don't know. We haven't had a Kazakhstani bisexual middleweight champion. So the 250th ranked.
He's going to the front of the line.
There you go.
All right. I can't believe Omri doesn't like football though.
Yeah. Right.
How long you been here, Omri? How long you been in America?
18 months or so.
Oh, all right. You're still new. You'll get it.
I know the rules. I learned the rules before I came here. I know where I'm going. I knew where I was coming. I knew I needed to learn it, but I understand it. It's just too long for me.
I'm interested in what is the Israeli thought on like American sports? What do you think about football? Like, what's the
that it's too long and we don't have a problem with the violence. It's just that we just don't care, honestly. It's that we watch soccer and basketball. That's our sport.
So speaking of football, this actually ties into, believe it or not, the banking moral hazard. So we have this huge issue with concussions. Do you know when they didn't have issues with concussions? Before helmets. And before pads.
Because people wouldn't use their head.
Troy Aikman has said it over and over and over again. If we wanted to get rid of concussions in the game, if we wanted to make it, we'd get rid of the pads.
Yeah.
Because people can't hit each other like this. They'll break a collarbone. Yeah. Rugby doesn't have these issues. Mm-hmm. Rugby has these massive hits. They don't have these head injuries. They don't have these massive, catastrophic injuries. By trying to make the game safer, these smart academics, these academic elites, these credentials, these PhDs that have never played the game.
Yeah, then now you can use your head like a weapon. Or now they're trying to get rid of that.
Yeah, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
But he's running full speed. How am I not running full speed?
Yeah.
Figure it out.
And you've never played. Put your head in the right place.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things in the world. Don't lead with your head. How do you tackle? You've literally never played football.
Yeah. Bro, I can't believe Omri hates it. Look, it's like war. It's like you line up your O line, your D line. Those are like your big frontline guys. Those are like your big barbarians, guys built like G. Uh-huh. You know, your big heavies. They go out and bucking heads in the front, and it's all win. It's all kind of one in the front. You know what I mean? You got a good push there. You could run the ball down their throats all day.
Yep.
Then you got your quarterback. He's kind of like the
general.
Well, is the coach the general or is the quarterback the general?
Let's just say we're playing.
Saying
right
on
now.
field,
Yeah,
then the quarterback's all right. Then we'll say the quarterback's the general. Even though I would say he's almost like he's more like captain
a lieutenant,
or a lieutenant, where the coach is still, he's calling. We got to include the coach.
All right, fine.
Let's call the coach the general.
Sure.
All right, and then you got
quarterback's war daddy.
You got quarterback's war daddy. War master.
War daddy.
Yeah, so he's a captain. He kind of controls the ball. He's reading the defense. He decides where it goes. He could throw it to his. So what are we gonna call the running back? The running back and the receivers, the skill players.
That's cavalry.
Cavalry.
That's the cavalry right there. I think you got to go like chess type of a deal. I think your linemen are infantry.
All right.
Your skill positions are cavalry. And then they outflank the opponent.
Your kickers. Those are your snipers.
Snipers for sure.
They sit back and they gotta kick the ball through the uprights.
That's right.
And it's all we all know what it is. We're gonna try and stuff this ball into this end.
Yep.
If we get that ball in the end, we get points. Mm-hmm. If we come up short, we bring out our sniper and let them flick it through.
It's capture the flag.
Yeah, I guess so.
You ever played capture the flag?
Yeah.
Love capture the flag.
Capture the flag's fun.
Yeah. Capture the flag paintball. That's a good time. That's a good Saturday.
Yeah.
Capture the flag until somebody pulls out one of those automatic hoppers and it's just like that's not fun.
We got to get Omri to watch a football game with us. He'll become a fan.
We just got to get him addicted to gambling.
Do you ever play Madden, Omri?
No,
play
I
video
have not
games?
played Madden.
I
like video games. Yeah, I never played Madden.
I'd give Madden a shot.
NHL, Chell.
Well, let's slow down here.
Let's get him into American games before we get him into Canadian games.
Yeah. Football's more fun. Hockey's fun. Being at a game.
Oh yeah.
Every time I go to like a hockey game, I'm like, man, I'm gonna start following this. I'm gonna be like a big fan. Then you watch it on TV and it's not quite the same. I know you're a big hockey fan.
Huge Ranger fan.
Yeah, you watch your Rangers all the time.
Huge Ranger fan.
But hockey's kind of like football on skates.
Yeah. It's like lacrosse on skates.
All right. But they get hit.
Yeah. I think you can hit lacrosse, can't you?
Yeah, I think you can a little bit. You might be right. Never played lacrosse.
Yeah.
You can hit in lacrosse.
Yeah. Lacrosse has an interesting origin story. You know where lacrosse comes from?
The Indians.
That's right. The Native Americans would use the heads, the skulls of their slain. Yeah. Now, again.
They had the little thing with the basket.
Yeah. Our educated elites would have you believe that the Indians were just sitting around smoking peace pipes all day, and it was the damn Western colonists that invented
we taught
warfare.
Violence. Yeah.
Meanwhile, lacrosse, fun game where you take your slain enemy's head and put it in a basket and throw it to your friends. Toss it around.
They made the ball a lot smaller.
Yeah. There was a game that they played that was like kind of like basketball, but you had to like use your hips to hit the ball. This was like an Aztec game.
I was gonna say, the Aztecs had something.
Yeah.
I think that was with a human head.
That was with a human head as well.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, no.
You can do a lot with a human head.
There's no waste.
You know what I mean? You can't really dribble. You got to dribble really hard.
Would you drink out of the skull of your enemy?
Sure. Who wouldn't?
I think like. That would be, How clean would the skull have to be, though? I feel like the clean would have to be pretty clean.
Yeah. You see guys doing, like, shoeys?
What's a shoey?
Or they take a shoe.
Oh, yeah.
They dump a beer in it.
It's the
and
New
then
Zealand guy,
spit
right?
in it, too.
You spit in it, too?
Someone else does.
Oh,
like,
man.
That's kind of where I'm at. It's like, all right, the foot sweat, like, that's one thing. Like, I can deal with that. I can,
the mildew,
say
huh?
You know what I mean? Maybe you could say the alcohol kills some of that. Probably not.
Okay.
But, and also... Now you're walking around with a sopping wet shoe for the rest of the night.
I'm going to tell you what, bud.
I've never done a shoey.
I think I'm okay.
You know what I mean? What's wrong with a cup?
I don't need a shoey.
Yeah.
I'll just go straight from the can.
But hey, Tai Tuivasa.
That's right.
That's the fighter he's known for doing them. Always does them. I don't think he's gotten sick from it. Not that I've heard of. I feel like it's got to beef up your immune system a lot, you know?
Yeah, pass.
Nah, not for you.
Pass.
People take those little immunity shots with ginger and vitamin C and stuff.
Ginger,
you do a shoey. That's an
ginger,
immunity test right there.
Little turmeric, little toe jam and turmeric shot.
Yeah. How many subscribers you want? How many subscribers you want to do a shoey?
It would have to be a lot. I'm not a feet guy.
Yeah,
I'm not a feet guy.
Tied to Ivaso, by the way, not only does shoeys from his own shoe, when he wins, he walks back and does shoeys from people in the audience. How much would they need to pay you to do that, Mick?
I don't know. Just one. I can, you know what I mean? I don't, the thing that throws me off is when you gotta you pass it around for the people to spit in it. That's freaking nasty to me.
That's a lot.
Like, I could I don't know. I can without seeing all the foot sweat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could kind of put out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
But then when you pass it around, everyone go, 4 people spitting in it, and then you're like, cheers, and drinking that thing. That's a little much for me.
That's too
a little
much.
much for me.
That's too much. That's what's the point? What's the point here?
I don't know. I think it's just to make it as gross as possible.
Just make it as gross as possible.
Someone take a leak in it next.
Yeah, to pull out a pubic hair, throw it in there.
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
Something like that.
Yeah,
So it sounds like some jackass shit.
Yeah. And then the guy is just like, I do the haka. I'll drink anything you give me.
Yeah.
That just seems dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, bro. We get it. You're tough.
I wonder if that comes from the skull of your enemies type thing too.
Would you spit in? I would drink out of the skull of my enemy,
Before
but I still wouldn't want anybody to spit in it.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I have more of a issue with the toe jam and the foot sweat versus the maybe a little bit of brain particle.
Yeah.
Just make you smarter if you had a little brain particle in there.
I like that.
You know.
I have drank wine out of a woman's hoo-ha.
Really?
Yep. That was fun. Did enjoy that.
Now I'm trying to think of the logistics of that.
Oh, it's a bottle.
I think you gotta turn the bottle up.
That's right.
And the top of the bottle is submerged.
That's right.
And how much how much go how much is the bottle emptying?
Not a lot, because you remember, they'll get alcohol poisoning pretty quickly. It seeps right on in there.
Right.
And then you just you can either
You've done that one time?
I've done it a few times. You do it. Let me tell you what. You do it once, you're gonna want to do it again.
Red wine?
Of course. Yeah. Oddly enough, you would think red wine would be gross, but the white wine's way grosser.
Why?
It gets pretty hot pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A nice chilled bottle of
you gotta have it chilled.
Of Chardonnay.
You gotta have it chilled. You gotta have it a little colder than you want it. Yeah. But red wine's supposed to be, warm anyway.
Okay.
And then you just
red wine pairs well with meat.
Red wine pairs well with meat. Well, although white wine pairs better with fish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like cold red wine. I like ice cubes in it, but I know what my grandpa used to do. This is a player ass move. He would chop up fruit, right?
Freeze it.
He would put it in the wine and then put some saran wrap over the top. Put that in the fridge overnight.
Solid.
Let it seep in there.
Solid.
And you're eating this alcoholic fruit and stuff with it.
That's the sangria. That's that sangria move.
But sangria, they also add Sprite and other bullshit.
They shouldn't. Although
most places do.
My
if
Uncle
you get
Ralph,
it out. You got to make your own.
My Ginzo Uncle Ralph, who's recovering from lung cancer and doing great. God bless him. But and my Aunt Lorraine, whose birthday was yesterday. Shout out to you, Aunt Lorraine. Love you. Ralph does what we call the Guinea sangria. He does Diet Coke and red wine. Yeah, mixes them together.
AR is a big out and shout out Hogs and Heifers.
Yeah, saw a bunch of Hogs and Heifers. I should have taken pictures. I saw a bunch of Hogs and Heifers shirts at Bike Week.
Yeah,
yeah,
you should have. Yeah, I was rocking mine actually this weekend too.
Hogs and Heifers.
If
you're in Vegas, you got to go to Hogs.
Got to go to Hogs.
It's an absolute must.
Yeah. Tell them Mickey and G sent you.
Tell them Mickey and G sent you. Yeah. And do not, under any circumstances, try to get on that fucking bar.
Yeah. Unless you're a woman. Women are allowed.
Oh, that's right.
Women are allowed on.
Well, I'm just assuming at this point, after my fish comment, there's
no women left.
Yeah, I'm just assuming.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good, though.
Pop Rocks, another one. Like eating Pop Rocks out of there.
Yeah.
That's
you
fun.
Love sugar.
That's fun for the whole family. Give me some sugar. Yeah. I am your neighbor. Pop Rocks? You ever done the Pop Rocks?
Nah.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. You get snap, crackle, and pop.
You really like to mix your favorite things. Little food and little sex, huh?
Buddy.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Nutella and nipples. Come on.
It's a mess. You're making a mess. You need a shower after this shit.
What, are you not showering?
Nah, I'm just letting it
You just
living in it.
You're just sitting in it?
Just basking in it.
Just basking in it.
Yeah.
Just laying in the wet spot.
You need to like have like a thorough scrub after. What about you? Do you put anything on you and have the lady eat that off?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Big fan.
What do you put whipped cream around your package?
That's a testes thing. Whipped cream on the testes is solid. That's a solid pull right there.
Yeah. All right. Anyway,
get that visual in your head.
No thanks.
I'm
keeping it out. I'm not letting it in.
Let it in.
I'm not letting it in.
Let it in.
No.
Let it in. Just let it happen. You don't.
Now you're giving me dialogue from your.
You don't.
Now you're giving me dialogue from your excursions.
You don't. You don't dabble with. You don't do the food and. Dinner and a movie. You don't do the whole.
Nah, man.
Really?
Nah.
Just it's business. Just very business oriented.
It's not very business oriented.
It's just
don't put words in my mouth here.
Do you show up with a suit and tie and a briefcase?
I have a briefcase.
You do have a briefcase. This is the dossier for the evening, madam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sign off on this. You sign off on that. Yeah. I got the Kobe Bryant.
That's right. Consent in triplicate.
Consent form. Yeah.
If I can have your thumbprint here, please look into the camera. Yeah, that's interesting.
So fun. It's like that was that Chappelle show bit, right? Where he was like he has like the form where they're like all hot and heavy and like about to get in. He's like, all right, and now she's like having to like sign and initial and I need a thing here and another one there and turn the page. Okay, for sure. Yeah, that's quite a buzzkill.
And check here if you plan on taking Plan B. Check here, please check here. Yeah, I'm a big fan, man. Big fan.
All right. Well, I'd be interested to hear what our commenters have to think about that. They're into food play.
I like food play. Is that what it's called? Food play?
I don't know. It's what we're calling it now.
I like food and I like playing. Food play. Big fan.
Yeah.
Role playing. Big fan.
Role playing.
Big fan. Never thought I would be either. But then, this all happens like, it takes like one person to kind of like change everything,
Sure.
Like, never thought like it's stupid. Like you'd hear about it, it'd be like something like
What if you go see? It's a dangerous road. That's a slippery slope. Because then what if like one girl's into like wants like you to like hit them, and then the only way you can get off after that is like by hitting someone.
You're not kidding. And the role play, in the food,
dangerous, bro.
Yeah, and you gotta feel these girls out a little bit, man, because. You can scare them away.
We might need to practice some discipline here. And just enjoy it.
There's no going back, man.
Yeah.
There's no going back. Once.
So role play.
The food play. Everybody's kind of open to those ideas. Some of the other stuff, they're not really as much. But the food
Gerard
play.
be putting Skittles up his butt and like you pooting them out.
Oh look, piece of candy. Oh look, piece of candy. Piece of candy.
James Woods over here.
Yeah. Like that one right there, that's a tough one,
What?
Once you get that butthole lick, there's no going back, bro. There's no going back. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. And having that conversation, that's a tough one. That's a tough conversation.
Yeah.
And I feel for them.
You just kind of Gerard just like goes back and like holds your legs like you want a diaper change. Don't forget my friend down here.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you not doing?
What are you not doing? Yeah, that's a deal breaker for a lot of them, I would imagine. Yeah, I mean, but I can't blame them.
Yeah, right.
Can you blame them?
Need a power wash before
for sure. You gotta keep it fresh. You gotta keep it clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These poor young ladies, what you put them through, G. Unbelievable.
The people in the comment, by the way, all seem to be on the side of food play, except from our old friend Runaway Slav, whom we might want to distance ourselves from. He asked, "Does forcing rum down her throat count as food play?" I said, "No, that counts as rape."
Yeah, no forcing. We don't like
rum?
forcing.
Yeah. Like rum? She's drinking rum and Red Bull.
Yeah. What Omri said, we might need to separate ourselves from Runaway Slav for a little bit.
Runaway Slav never coming back.
Yeah. Runaway Slav. No forcing, brother.
Yeah,
no forcing. No forcing.
No.
Forcing rum down her throat. Jiminy crisscross.
Honestly, I've never had trouble with getting a girl to drink. I've had trouble getting girls to not drink.
Yeah. Shout out.
No free shout outs. It's.
Did you get any food play up in Daytona?
Little food play.
Little food play. Little FP for
Pop Rocks
Big G.
Pop Rocks made a.
So this is fresh on your mind.
Yeah, it started with some Jelly Bellies. You gotta
hit the candy store before you go and tap that ass.
Bro, some people like to smoke a cigarette after. I like a little sugar. I like a little sugar after. I like something a little sweet. Give myself a little something a little sweet. A little treat for all the hard work.
Sweet and salty.
Little sweet, little salty. Little sweet, little salty for all the hard work,
Yeah.
Putting in work, man. Get that heart rate up. It's, that's cardio.
I was gonna say.
It's a lot.
At least the big guy's getting some cardio out here.
A lot of cardio. Yeah.
Shit.
That's hardcore cardio depending on how you go about it.
Yeah. So people in the comments, they like the food play. They give any specific things? So I feel like you gotta, like, you're doing all that. You're like, I don't know. There's no, like, now you're committed to just ladies, a lot of time here. Like, ladies, this is quite a production.
Ladies, this is
quite a production.
This is why you want to find yourself a big man. All right, I know you're looking at Mickey and you got all those abs and you're like, that's gonna be a good time. This guy eats nothing but fucking tuna fish out of a can. You don't want him shoving no fucking Star-Kissed inside you. That thing's gonna be disgusting.
Star-Kissed?
Yeah.
Oh, this like a can of tuna.
Yeah, like, what are you gonna eat, some kimchi?
That's what I'm saying. I don't mix. I don't mix this stuff.
Because your food's terrible. Your food is it's not sexy. You don't eat sexy food. Nobody. You're not eating goat curry out of anybody, buddy.
I don't want to. I don't want to burn anybody.
That's what I'm saying. But like, when was the last time you even had Nutella?
I've had Nutella, bro.
When was the last time you had whipped cream intentionally?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a little making a Sunday kind of guy.
Baby, I am your sugar daddy, girl. Whatever you want, a little one for me, one for you.
No, there's no money involved. But I'll be your sugar daddy.
Oh, there will be no money.
Yeah, you're not getting a dime off him. He's keeping it playing.
That's right.
But you want some sweet and low?
Hey, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how far a nerd's rope. Can you imagine a girl goes to a gyno after this? She's like, "What's going on?" And she's got like fucking.
It's like, yeah, you have all these dyes and sugars.
You have a fucking Sour Patch Kid. What the fuck?
Yeah. Nah. So you gotta be, ready to go about real life.
This guy's over here asking why my teeth were blue the other day. My teeth.
He's looking like he licked Papa Smurf's butt over here at the gym.
Hey, Papa. What is your thoughts on sugar daddies and sugar mamas? That's a big thing down here in South Florida.
I say, hey, God bless.
Really?
Yeah.
The sugar babies?
Everybody's getting something out of it.
I don't know. I feel like it's, I don't know. I guess.
What do you mean? What's your trepidation? You're thinking about, what do you think is kind of like prostitution?
Yeah, I mean,
like you're selling yourself?
Prostitution should be legal in my mind. I mean, consenting adults and all that, but it just, it saddens me a little bit. It's sad.
And I agree with you. I think prostitution, I don't think they're, why if people want to do with themselves, I mean, obviously it goes down that slippery slope of, sex trafficking and, coercion, forcing people to do things.
Totally.
But yeah, if a girl wanted to take up for themselves and, you know what I mean? God bless. Let them do whatever they want.
No different. Like, we talk about this a lot on the podcast.
It's the oldest occupation.
It is.
For
sure. There's
no
doubt
since
about
the beginning of time.
From the very beginning of time.
I want that bunch of bananas.
Yeah.
I have that bunch of bananas. What are you gonna do to get that bunch of bananas?
Yeah.
So tell me why. What are you worried about?
The moral of the story was she got the bananas, guys.
Yeah. I'll let you figure out how.
Yeah, so like
Jill came down with $2.50. Oh,
little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Then along came a spider who sat down beside her and said,
"Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?"
Oh, you gotta love him. You gotta love him.
Yeah, Dice is the man.
So,
you ever seen Dice's Instagram?
Only from you.
Dude, Dice's Instagram is so funny.
How funny is that?
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
He just goes and makes things awkward for people. Like he's very funny on there. Yeah.
I like, I wonder how Dice, but I think it's going to turn around. I think you're starting to see it now that, all these celebrities are coming out is starting to stand up to the woke mob and all this other shit. And, they're going to act like they.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about sugar daddies and sugar mamas
sugar
still?
daddy, sugar mama, man. I hear what you're saying. Like, hey, consenting adults. But at the same time, it does sadden me a little bit. There's a difference between being legal and being moral, right? We talk about that a bunch. And,
right.
Just because I don't agree with something doesn't mean I should think it should be illegal. Go for it if you want to do it. But
no, we're not talking about legality here. We're just talking about, your opinion on those situations.
I think Instagram and social pressures are forcing some women to commoditize themselves in ways that I don't think they would have before.
Yeah.
I talked to we've talked about the ex when I was playing, right? She knew she was sitting on a golden ticket. Legitimately. She knew that she had a golden ticket.
I like the way you say that. Between her legs, she had a golden ticket.
Sitting on a golden ticket.
Sitting on that thing.
And there's a certain thing, as I've watched her grow up and stayed friendly with her after we broke up or whatever, there's a pressure that she feels and that she applied to herself that she had to maximize this investment opportunity as opposed to just finding love, raising a family, whatever those fairy tale things are. This isn't they're commoditizing themselves. We have friends, that are dabbling in that field and, they're taking their Instagrams in Aspen and skiing in Tahoe. And I'm like, you make $40,000 a year. How the hell are you going to Aspen and Tahoe?
Right. Not on their dime.
But
I mean, if that's something that
show us
people
whose
want.
boat that is.
Yeah, right. You just see they're behind the camera taking the picture.
Whose boat is that? That is not your boat.
Yeah, I think
maybe part of it's jealousy that I don't have the boat.
Could be.
Maybe I'm projecting on them my own insecurities that, hey, these sugar daddies are flooding the market with unrealistic expectations. I can't compete with that. So maybe it's my own projections.
But maybe you could but that doesn't mean you can't get yourself a sugar mama and
I don't think it
play
works
with
both
a nerd's
ways.
rope.
Do you think it works? Do you think it works both ways? I don't think it works both ways.
Why not?
Because I'm not. Do you think?
I think it's the best of both worlds would be if you actually love that person, right? They love you, and happens to be they
just happen to be wealthy.
Yeah,
and 20 years older than you.
I mean, I don't know. Does that? So you say a sugar mama and sugar daddy has to be a big age difference? Does it?
I think that's the kind of interpretation. The interpretation, or at least the expectation, is
typically they are older. They're more established. They spend more time making paper.
They're like an employee,
saving, doing things.
They're it's more of a client. It's more like a client relationship.
Yeah, well, who wants? So then if it's like that, who wants that? I think that's kind of it's kind of gross.
It saddens me. It saddens me. It saddens me to think
I've heard people say your first marriage is about love, your second marriage is about money.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Look, but maybe that's what Matt. Go ahead, Omri.
I was gonna say, I don't think a sugar mama's in the cards for you, but if you're interested in a sugar
daddy,
does
that mean?
I think that'll be easy for you. Getting a sugar daddy, you can do that.
Yeah, you want to do that, G?
One. Yeah, find an older man.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Now,
go be a bear to some rich
What's so
gay?
funny? What's so funny is when you talk to these girls that have done the sugar baby stuff. Every one of them insists that it's not about sex. Every one of them says, no, it wasn't even about sex. We just did things together. And it's
we just did things together? What? Go on an amusement park
ride? I fly your ass all the way out to Fiji, and we're on a boat where we've established the implication.
There's an implication.
We established the implication exists. And that's it. These guys just lavish these women with gifts and and then they come home. It drives me. It's sometimes you ladies, I swear, there's a girl who was she was like telling me this story. And I think she really wanted me to be on her side with this. She's like, so anyway, I worked at this bar, and this guy was like a client. He would always come in, and then he was like, I got this thing in L.A. Do you want to come out to L.A. with me? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And we were like friends. And then he flew me out to L.A. And then the first night, he like tried to like do things with me. I was like, yeah.
You were surprised?
Flew you to L.A. She was like, wait, you're on his side? I'm like, absolutely. Ain't no such thing as a free lunch, baby.
Yeah.
I feel like that you flew out to LA
with him
to be with him, staying at his place. And then she's like, no, I made him get me a hotel room. I would have been like, wow. Okay. You can go get a hotel room, but your credit card works, right?
Yeah.
I feel like my credit card's maxed out as far as you're concerned.
Maybe it's a little misleading. So if you accept a trip like that, you're saying they got to be willing to put out.
I don't understand what they think the trip would be for anyway. Otherwise.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess then in that case, it's like they're just defrauding this guy. They're just using him.
Exactly. So wait, he's the bad guy in this scenario. You were the person who wasn't, like you said. That's the perfect word. You were defrauding this gentleman.
Yeah.
Or you just
wanted to go see Disneyland.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends. I have so many friends. Don't need more friends.
Yeah.
I'm okay on friends.
Yeah.
Don't need companionship.
Yeah, you want to eat Nerds ropes and
I'm just
play
saying,
with some whipped cream Nutella.
I'm just saying. Can't do that with my buddies.
Yeah.
I got enough guys to play Madden with.
Yeah.
Come out to L.A. I'm also not paying for my boys to come out to L.A.
You don't play any video games, do you?
Not a big video game guy.
Yeah, me neither.
Used to be a big video game guy.
What was your big video game?
I loved them all. The last one I played was GTA, and then
those are fun.
It just takes so much time out of my day. I just had to, it was almost like a drug for me. I'd have work.
Well, it is a drug
in the morning
because it messes with like your dopamine and like takes your reward systems, and you're like, yeah, I'm getting coins. Like this is good, but really it's nothing. But I mean, actually nowadays people can make money playing video games online and doing stuff. So maybe there's something to that, but I don't think that's what you were doing.
One of my favorite comedians, guy from back in Jersey named Mike Sicoli, has a great bit where he says, my life is so much better online. He's like, I totally get why these people don't go outside. I totally understand it. My life is so much better in Grand Theft Auto, and I die 100 times a day.
Because he's not feeling that.
Yeah, I got houses, I got cars,
yeah,
I got money. And I die.
He's like flexing to like chicks. He's like, yeah, I got this big helicopter. I got this and that. And she's like, oh, really? Can I see it? Yeah. He's like, yeah, come over.
Yeah. And then
loading.
He's got to hop in the Honda to go do a bar show.
That's why it's scary. Like with this metaverse stuff, like people are going to be, they're going to come home from work. They're going to just put their their virtual reality on, and then they're going to just go, check out and do that all night. That they're going to live most of their life in these fake worlds.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there'll be whole ass economies. I mean, we see it like with Zoom meetings and stuff like that now. Imagine if there's an actual virtual, so there's an actual virtual workplace. Imagine if instead of getting on a Zoom meeting for 8 hours a day and doing remote work, they actually was like VR work. You have to go around the office and I could show you this copy. You got to get on the VR, come over to my office, and there's this VR environment where there's real world application. You're a doctor and you're in whatever. You're in Wisconsin, but you're one of the best orthopeds in the world, and then you throw on the VR goggles and you're sitting there and you're doing surgery, and it's the robotics that are connected to your synapse or doing the surgery from remote. You're getting cut open by a guy in Wisconsin, but you're laying on a bed in Florida. It's the world's trending in that direction.
Well, shit. I mean, if they're gonna do a good job,
yeah,
then whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I was more thinking of just losing your actual this, because there's so much good stuff out in the real world with our nature. You know what I mean?
Technology doesn't scare me with that.
People could just shut down. So when did you stop playing video games?
Right before the pandemic.
Oh, really?
Right before the pandemic happened.
So I stopped, I don't think I was playing video games in high school. But I will fuck around, and I'll give anybody the work in Super Smash Brothers on N64. Still. That's hardwired technique, bro.
Yeah.
Actually, I have one of those down here, too.
I wasn't like a massive...
I want to put the beats on someone.
I didn't want to... Until GTA, I wasn't one of those guys that spent, 10 hours a day playing video games. I'd play for, an hour. Especially when the games got away from the story. I like the story in the video games. Like, beating the game is something I liked.
That's what you like.
I don't like just running around, killing each other.
That seems kind of fun, though. To run around and, you know what I mean? You're shooting your rocket launcher at your buddy, and he's diving and stealing a car to go crash it into you.
To me, it's fun for, an hour.
Yeah.
And then let's go do something else.
That's good. That's good. Some people be doing that, 12 hours.
Shelby.
Just sitting there drinking... Mountain Dew and
our friend Shelby, she gets after it. She likes Skyrim and all those open world games and stuff.
I'm not hating. A part of me is kind of jealous. My mom used to bust my balls about it though.
Really?
She would if I was even not just as a kid I'd she just wouldn't want me playing it much. But I think there's something to that. I get it. You know what I mean? I think it's better to be active and live in the real world. But there's also if that's a way you relax or if you can make money doing that, God bless.
So what's this is the third time you've brought up this connection to nature. What's your thoughts on, do you think we're becoming disconnected from?
Yeah, I do. I think that's a lot of the reason for people being depressed and people getting sick and a whole bunch of other shit. You should be out. You should be out in the world a little bit. You know what I mean? Out in I hate to just keep saying nature, but you know what I mean? Out in the sunlight, out in the, amongst the trees and the shit like that. Yeah.
Hey, Mickey, I got a question from the chat that kind of relates to that. This is coming from our old friend Runaway Slop, is there something outside the cage that you feel brings you a similar amount of adrenaline, or do you seek anything like that out, or what do you think that would be?
I guess the closest thing to that, and it's going to probably sound a little redundant, would be training, being in the gym. And I get to fight every day a little bit. You know what I mean? I get to compete and, grapple. I like to compete. I have fun playing pickleball with G. I would do I would do 2 practices. I would do yoga. And then I'd be on my way back. I'd hit up G, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm at the pickleball court." And I was like, "All right, I'll come." So I'd basically do 4 workouts those days, So yeah, pickleball is fun, but it's nice being active and doing things that makes me feel good. I like using my body, and if I like games. There's even card games I could have a good time playing. I got a couple card games that I could play for hours. I like chess.
Yeah. I do believe activity is remarkably important as you age. Finding activity. I look at, my own father, love him dearly, and this is where the Northeast, I think, kills you, man. It's you sit in traffic, you sit at work, you sit in traffic coming home, you go to bed. 65, he looks a lot older than the 65-year-olds down here.
It's easy to fall into a sedentary lifestyle.
Incredibly easy.
It's you got Netflix, you can,
it's cold outside.
You can Uber eat some food
on the ground.
Uber eat the food. They deliver you food.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You could live a whole life without leaving your house. You know what I mean?
It's just shocking.
But I think you got to, if you make yourself do that, you're gonna feel better.
If it's
shocking, we're gonna turn gray, sitting inside, being sick, becoming something that we're not. You know what I mean? We're gonna become, more look. We're gonna be like aliens.
Wally.
We're gonna be skinny, have some strong thumbs, and or skinny or fat, and have these big old alien heads.
It'll be that skinny fat body. It'll be that Kid Rock skinny fat.
Yeah.
But it is true. You see the people down here pickleball court. You see the 75-year-olds on the pickleball court, man. They look like they're 55. You see Killer Cav.
Mm-hmm.
Killer Cav looks 20 years younger than he is because he's just active. He's out. He's about. Little shit like walking on the beach every day, man. It matters. Activity matters. It really is a use it or lose it type of meet suit we've got here.
Yeah.
You know, if you are around active people, you will remain active. You ever see like people that are like as cliche as this is, if you're around wealthy people, you're going to end up wealthy. If you're around active people, you're going to end up active. You know, the environment that you put yourself in. You know, I was just talking with somebody yesterday, and they're struggling with alcoholism. And I was talking with them, you know, and kind of telling them, you know, my story a little bit. And with them, they've gone to rehab a couple of times. And they're trying, but also at the same time, I don't think that they are. I think that they kind of want the best of both worlds. They want the life that they have with the people that they're friends with, but then they want like this moderation that they just they're incapable of. They don't know when the party's over. They don't know when enough is enough. And my thing to him was, you got to get out of here.
Got to get probably a different set of friends.
You got to get out of here. You got to get out of this environment. You got to get out of this place. You got to get out of the triggers that you have. You got to get away from the friends that you have.
Yeah, you should go to like an AA.
Oh, he is.
I mean, and like meet some AA people that you like, that you can vibe with. You know what I mean?
Yes, but no. He's doing that, but then he's coming back into the environment that triggers him.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't know.
And I think that it's going to, at least, you got to take time. You got to separate from that old environment for a little while.
Yeah. I think, yes, for sure. But I don't think you can, you have to reinvent your personality. You have to reinvent who you are. When you've been known as the party guy or whatever, when you've been known, and it's all your failure. When you're home, you see all your failures. You see the ex that, you know, your actions probably forced away. She's living her life and she's had, all of these triggers are there for you. Just, you got to go somewhere else and start over. All right. And this is just my opinion. This is what I've seen from my friends. This is what I've seen from family members. This is what I've seen for myself. If you're doing the same things in the same place, it's going to be incredibly hard to do them differently.
Sure.
If you're around the same people, going to the same places, it's going to be very, very hard for you to do those things differently, especially if those people aren't on board with the changes that you're trying to make.
Right. It's going to take a lot more discipline out of you. It's going to be so much more trying and difficult. It's like kind of what you're saying is like the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same things, you know what I mean? Expect a different result.
And let's be brutally honest with yourself. If you had that type of discipline that Mick's talking about, you probably wouldn't be in the place you're in to begin with. So make it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
yourself.
you would need like a superhuman discipline. Like it's not easy,
which you don't have,
but you can develop. You don't have it now, but you can develop. You can,
sure.
Like you said, how people can reinvent themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Be whatever you want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
Make it easy. Make it as easy as you can on yourself.
Totally agree.
It's hard. These things are hard. These changes are hard.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, cliche as it sounds, be kind to yourself. Like, bro, you know, go away. Like, build that discipline somewhere else without all the weight of all of your other failures and everything else hitting you in the face every time you go somewhere. Go somewhere and reinvent yourself. Do something that you need to do with people you need to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm a huge proponent of that. You know, it's fight or flight, but sometimes the best fight is flight. Like, you need to go somewhere. You need to go to the mountains. You know, like people would say, go to the desert. You know, Jesus walked 40 days in the desert. Man, he might have needed the time.
Yeah,
I just need some me time, man. I'm out here saving everybody else. I just need some me time. You know, let me just chill out a little bit, dude. There's no shame in unplugging to work on yourself. You got to live with yourself every minute of every day. If you don't like who you are or where you are, change it. Because it's not going to change without you making the effort to change it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just a conversation I had with somebody over the weekend, and it got me thinking. And it's not a failure, and it's not admitting failure. You're not a failure. Sometimes, man, you just need to switch it up a little bit. Like, hey, man, this locale's not working. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, it's only a failure if you don't learn from the losses. Yeah. Turn your losses into lessons. You learn how to adapt and make changes. If you just keep repeating and stay on the same cycle, then it's a failure.
Yeah, and to me that's unfair to the people, that you love. You on a certain way,
like you owe it to them.
you owe it to them. You owe it to them to work on yourself. You know, you're not their burden.
No, and I think taking that even a step further is that you owe being your best self, not just to yourself, but to all the people who believe in you and love you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's like it's your obligation. Mm-hmm. And I think we should feel that way. That, like, you know what I mean? If I, you know, just sit back and don't train for my fights, and I go out there and get my ass kicked, like that'd be super disrespectful of me to do to like my family and my friends, people who love me, that are rooting for me, even the people who are betting on me. You know what I mean? It's and you can extrapolate that and apply that in so many different ways. Like you know you should be as happy as you can be, because it's gonna make the people that love you happy to see you happy. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, take that a step further. I love that mentality. Take it a step further. These people made an investment in you. Your parents driving you to places when you were younger, you know, spending the time, taking the time out of their lives to help you live your dream. You know, it's that's that kind of why. You know, that's that why, that's that mentality. You know, and when I was playing, you know, there was games, you end up hating baseball. Like, it's just too much. You're like, man, 140 fucking games across the country. Like, it's just a lot, right? And the politics. But then you sit there and you're like, you sit there and you think about your father sitting in traffic to come back and coach you, and how, you know, how he busted his ass for you, and the people that made these sacrifices for you. They saw something in you. They helped cultivate your talent. They gave a part of them. They gave a part of them so you could live your dream. Yeah, you do. You do owe it to them. It's not just, you know, about your personal glory. They have a part of that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a motivating factor for sure. Unless you're an absolute fucking narcissist.
Yeah.
That's got to be a motivating factor, you know?
Sure.
You carry the whole team with you, right? Now that gets taken too far sometimes, where people that you met once in life think that you owe them fucking something, or you owe the town that you come from, or, like, you know, we see that unfortunately with a lot of people who grew up in the inner city or something, and it's like, you know, you got to bring everybody with you. You do not. There's like 5 people you probably actually owe, you know, maybe like 6. But that doesn't make their contribution any less, you know.
Sure.
I don't know.
That's hard too, that you said that, because I personally, like, I feel that thing, like, I want to, like, and that was something like my dad had to say, like, I like, wouldn't it be nice to be able to like buy out like a whole block of houses and like put all your friends up in it, like all that shit? Isn't that, like, you know what I mean? But it'll never
hard. Be enough.
It's hard. It's hard to, you know, it's hard. Like, you gotta, it's a hard line where you want to take everybody with you, and you want to build everybody up, and, you know, provide opportunities and, you know, bags of money for everybody. But it's not as, like, you do in a way have to focus on yourself. You know,
either
that makes sense.
Totally. Or you listen to Slick and Thick, and Chaz Palminteri gave you the answer. Ask all your boys for 5 Gs before you get broke off.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but unfortunately,
see who's really there.
Unfortunately, they all listen to us. They're all gonna write the check.
Yeah.
You'll be walking around with $25,000 of the most useless dollars.
Yeah.
Shit.
But I hope I don't ever make anything on myself.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Look, man, I mean, I feel for people. I really do. You know, and my mentality has changed on it so much as I've gotten older, because, you know, you think of, like, Dare, and all these people are idiots. Anybody who did drugs is an asshole, or, you know, like these are just derelicts and degenerates. And sometimes, you know, criminals, right? Like, somebody does something wrong, they catch a felony, and it's like, hey, man, he got caught up. He's a good guy. He just got caught up. You know, and that's, you know, I guess that's the good thing about age. You know, it's odd so many people become more judgmental. I think I found myself becoming less judgmental, except I become judgmental of the people who are judgmental.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And circumstance is so interesting. And I wonder about, like, Dare, you know, how we go. I think
a lot of, like, judgmental is, like, people just trying to feel better about themselves.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, people want to just feel like, like, you know what I mean?
I think
it's so, like, I think the easiest job in the world is to be, like, a life coach. Because it's so easy to tell someone else what to do and like go through someone else. Oh, gee, just drink water and go, exercise and go out and dude. Gee, just be happy, dude. Just be happy. Just hey, make it a great day, bud. Yeah. Make it a great. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy to I think it's such like a kind of a cop out. Like I always say, everybody's is like a hypocrite. Like it's easy. It's easy for me to tell you what to do, but what am I doing actually to make myself happy? Am I doing all those things?
Yeah. Every life coach I know drives a Toyota and lives in a 1-bedroom apartment, unless they're like selling courses online about how I got rich in 35 days. Follow my 30-step course, and the 30th step is make a course about how to get rich. That's how you get rich, is make a course about how to get rich. But it's I had a dude back in the day.
You were saying something about the DARE program.
I will. I'll get back to that. But I had a dude back in the day like really coming after me hard to be my financial advisor, and like just was too much, like heavy on the sales. Like it wasn't. I was trying. He was a friend of a friend. I was trying to like be nice to the guy, and then finally I just had to tell him one day. I was like, "Bro, I make more money than you.
Yeah,
like I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not putting you in charge of my money. You
Here's the thing. I think that guy could be good at
maybe,
that. But I'm just saying it's not. It's like it's easier when it's not you, and your ass isn't on the line, and your ass isn't the one. And I'm not a material guy. I'm not a material guy. But when you out here, like I know you sell weed, and I know that I can see your car is a broken down Honda that's running on a donut. I'm not giving you my money. Yeah,
no. Yeah. Show me that. Show it. Prove it. Prove it. So, sorry, there's some jobs where people don't need to bet on you, and people want to say that they want to like hype themselves up. Like, I'll show you. Show me.
Yeah.
Show me, please. Like, it's not that I hate you. Show me. I'll give you more money than you're asking for, but show me. Like, prove it. Everybody wants it now. Everybody deserves it. You don't deserve shit. Prove it. Mm-hmm. Prove it. You want a life coach? How, would you go to a personal trainer? Would you go to a personal trainer that was 400 pounds?
No.
That dude might have a PhD in kinesiology, but you're like,
yeah, he might know his shit, but
show me. Show me.
Yeah.
Show me. You might be the smartest dude on earth. Show me.
Sure. Yeah, you gotta live it.
You gotta live it, bro. So the DARE thing, going back to that.
Right. You're talking about degenerates and criminals.
This kind of goes back to, we were talking about like school and how they do things, and just as you get older, you realize.
Speaking of criminals too, criminals are only the ones who get caught.
True. Very true.
Right? There's probably a lot of people who break the law but don't get caught.
Yeah, they're called politicians.
I knew you were gonna say that.
It's fucking gross. It's grotesque. You see the January 6th shit?
Yeah, how that they really misled and like withhold footage. The dude in the Viking hat, who looked like in the videos looked like King douchebag.
Yeah.
Turns out he's a Navy SEAL who's been
praying for the cops.
Maybe he's a SEAL. I don't know.
He wasn't a SEAL. He was
in the Navy.
Veteran,
he was a vet, and he was being led through the was it where were they breaking
Capitol
into?
building.
It was the Capitol building. He was being led through by cops.
Yeah.
And like being like they're trying doors, and like they were assisting him this whole time. He gets in there, he like says a prayer for he's like, thank you to like the cops, and thank you, like he's like praying, and like they call him the something shaman.
Yeah, they said 5 cops died that day. No cops died that day. 4 of them committed suicide months later. He's still in jail. That guy Jacob is, we don't know. That guy Jacob is still in jail.
I have a friend who I think was the first person convicted.
Really?
Yeah. He did punch a cop on video.
He punched a cop? Yeah. He deserves what he got.
He punched one. Yeah. I absolutely agree. I think it was, I can speak to him as a person. He's punched me in the face as well in the room.
Yeah. Time and place for everything.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the right place. But at the same time, it's like kind of like mixed, because I feel like he also, it's almost hard to say. Like I don't agree with what he did by any means. He got what he deserved. It was, that shit was terrible and stuff. But also like I know he also, like he used to like train like special needs kids and like help. Like I know he's also like is a big brother to a lot of people.
Good people are capable of doing bad things. Bad 100%. People are capable of doing good things. But
back to
we're
just a little factoid.
Yeah, but what we're seeing here is this worship of state that drives me out of my mind. These motherfuckers serve the public. They don't rule.
Who are you talking about? The politicians?
Politicians.
And so the politicians are the ones that slanted the story and didn't give the full, didn't show all this footage of this guy being led around by cops.
And it's not just Democrats.
And they gave, right. I know. Yeah. You're talking about that Tucker Carlson.
I'm talking Kinzinger, who ended up, and Liz Cheney, both of them, thankfully, both got voted out. Mitch McConnell. These are global elites. These are people that believe government are elitists. Their authority supersedes our rights. They don't represent us, the people. They represent their global interests. They represent their own power. It's incredibly important for people to understand this. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a liberal, conservative. If you are an American right now in 2023, the biggest thing to take from the last 2-3 years, and if you don't take this thing, you're really putting yourself in peril, is that our government no longer represents us. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat. Our government is not representing the people. And that is a dangerous, dangerous place to be. We got a question from the chat that I think is a great segue into that. This is from Sam Brightstein. He says, "What's the solution to move society from putting their focus on trivial matters like the Oscars and into subjects that will move our country forwards or more productive things?" Kind of like what you were just talking about. And a special handicap for you: you can't say having these conversations on my podcast. Well, the number one thing is having the conversation on the podcast, because you don't get to tell me what the fuck to do on my own show.
Did Omri put that in there, or was that from Sam? Is that an Omri caveat?
No, that was a me caveat.
Yeah, that was an Omri caveat.
People are becoming aware of what's happening. The awareness really is the first thing, right? Like we go back to being an alcoholic. The first step is admitting you got a problem. Getting people to admit that the government and the media are colluding against us, the citizens, is a very, very hard thing to do. People don't want to admit it. They want to say you're crazy. They want to say you're a conspiracy theorist. They want to say anything but the fact that the system is colluding against them. They don't want to see it for what it is. I think it scares them.
The people?
Yeah.
Right.
And admitting that we have the problem is number one. Number two is normalizing respectful disagreement, where somebody disagrees with something and you don't get into a fight with them and tell them they'll go fuck themselves and this and that. Smile, say, hey, look, I appreciate where you're coming from. I just see it differently. And then what I like to do in a setting, especially if it's a public setting, is immediately bring up a topic of conversation that I think we're going to agree on and find common ground, right? So I'm here and I'm talking about this. He's
like, yeah, chicks are hot, right?
Yeah, no, seriously, lowest common denominator stuff works.
Yeah,
the Oscars are popular because everybody likes movies, everybody likes music, everybody. Now, unfortunately, these institutions have been hijacked by politics. They've been completely hijacked by special interests. But at the end of the day, people like movies, and we like discussion as people, and we like disagreement as people. But we like playful banter. We're like, how puppies fight with each other, but then it's all love, that's kind of like when we have a conversation about
adorable.
Movies.
Nothing I love watching more than puppies.
You have but there's no stakes, right? If I say, I hate the fact that Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish in every movie, you could disagree with me.
I don't hate it. I find it as a nice, fun Easter egg.
Well, now do I sit here and I take what you said, your disagreement, as an attack on my worldview and philosophy, and I call you a Nazi for thinking that, and I degrade you? No, that's what a lunatic would do.
Right.
But that's our public discourse has been overran by lunatics. And the third part of this, Omri and Sam, who asked the question, is utilize ridicule. We have to get out of this fucking idea, this super woke PC movement, where you have to be nice to people who don't deserve they don't deserve either your empathy or just your
So it seems like
etiquette.
you're taking it a step further. So you're saying when you disagree, you go to the lowest common denominator, find common ground.
Sure.
And then
that's step one.
And then you're saying when that doesn't work,
yep,
and they continue to push, and then you turn to ridicule.
As the great Dalton from Roadhouse once said, be nice until it's time to not be nice.
Right.
And then don't be nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's this idea that everybody deserves empathy. No, you don't. Because you've weaponized it. You've turned the best part about us, the best part about humans, our empathy for one another, our sympathy for each other. And you've turned it into a weapon to be used against us. You have literally taken our kindness for weakness.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if we're overtly kind to people, you're a sucker. Because they don't show us
being taken advantage of.
They don't show us the same kindness. They don't give us the same benefit of the doubt that they demand of themselves. So that's where I kind of fall on that, Sam, is A, identify the problem, B, find common ground, C, implement ridicule.
Give an example.
The stupid argument over trans rights taking over the drag show, right? Like everything now comes down to, you know, if something is happening in the media, and we saw this on the Slick and Thick Instagram page, which is at Slick and Thick Show, which you guys should check out. You know, Ryan Montgomery and Scrappy, those videos are going viral, and they must have gone on some Reddit page, because then out of somewhere 20 comments, all the same comment. Yeah, but drag shows are the real problem. But drag show, no, okay, drag show is not the real problem. There's no problem with drag. You want to dress in drag, go for it. Dennis Rodman is my favorite basketball player of all time. Mrs. Doubtfire is one of the greatest movies ever. Nobody has a problem with drag. They have a problem with the 10-inch fucking dildo and the sign that says it's not going to lick itself in front of the 5-year-old kid.
Yeah, that should be done in like a strip club setting,
without children.
Yeah, no children at strip clubs, no children at.
Why does every drag show have
shows
to be a stripper or a male review? Like why? Like how come nobody's dressing up like Nancy Pelosi? You want to be a drag? Dress up. There's still boundaries, right? There's still and like so this idea that if you insist on public boundaries for people who live alternative lifestyles, you're somehow a bigot. I wouldn't want a stripper, and I love strippers. I wouldn't want a stripper with her titties out reading to kids. It's inappropriate.
Yeah.
So I don't want your fake titties out reading to kids either. It's inappropriate. I feel like even having to have this conversation is a joke, because this is
it's a little bit of that like smoke and mirrors type thing. It's like similar kind of to what Sam was saying. Like it's getting us focusing on other shit while some sleight of hand stuff's going on at the top.
There's no doubt about that.
You know? Yeah,
because the more we fight about, you know, hey, black people, white people, hey, trans rights, the more we fight about that, the less we give a shit about how much money is going to the Ukraine.
Yeah.
With
if we're tuned in for the Oscars, we're not worrying about that.
Yeah. We talk about it all the time, man. When was the last time somebody brought up credit score? Yeah. When was the last time one of these equality, social justice warriors brought up how unbelievably you want actual systemic poverty and systemic racism? Credit score. Credit score. You know, credit score, when you go to apply for a new credit card, it lowers your credit score. So let's say you need credit. Just the action of looking for credit makes it they literally, they're writing themselves in a VIG. So if your credit score gets lowered, all that means is that your rates go higher. So by you looking to use credit, they've written it into the rules that makes credit more expensive. Mm-hmm. It's fucking unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Who's regulating that? We've got the price of money. The poorer you are, money is more expensive. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So how the fuck is anybody ever supposed to get out of poverty? If you're poor, if you're rich, right, you don't need the money. They give you as much as you need. You could walk into a bank tomorrow, you got an 800 credit score, and you got $100,000 in the bank. They will write you a check tomorrow for $1 million, no questions asked. Mm-hmm. Really what people should do, I mean, well, this is fraud, so you definitely shouldn't do this. Do not do what I'm telling you to do because it's illegal. But you should take out a student loan, but get the loan made out in cash to you, and then you write the check to the school. Don't have it sent directly to the school. Because if you're a 17-year-old with no credit, they'll give you $100,000 tomorrow to go to, jerk off university to learn basket weaving. But if you want a $100,000 loan to start a small business where you're making acai bowls in a cart, you know what I mean? Making some dough, nobody will write you that check.
Yeah.
Nobody. So what's that say? Why would they give you all the money in the world to go to school where you get no income?
Yeah.
But if you want to start a business, sorry, bud.
Yeah. You
gotta have some money for that. Crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody talking about that.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
And so anyway, just to finish off that dare thing, by the way, instead of telling kids that if they do this, they're going to die and using the scare tactics and stuff like that, I just think they should just show videos of dudes. You know what I mean? Like, just show.
The dudes like zonked out at the store. Like, you don't want to be like this. So.
Again, because I think ridicule is a powerful tool. You know, you tell
Did you answer on how to ridicule?
Well, I would do friendly banter. I don't ridicule the person. I ridicule the idea. You should let people know that, their ideas are because they're a lot of these people, I believe, and I could be wrong, I think they come to these hard leftist ideas in particular because they're popular. I think that there's, they're kind of like promoted by the zeitgeist. They see this on TV and they're like, how many times do you hear capitalism is evil and then you're an anti-capitalist, but you're at Starbucks on a cell phone, like you're not an anti-capitalist. This is what you've heard. So by making fun of that a little bit, gentle ribbing, hopefully they come to the understanding that, oh, I'm fucking lame.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody's going to have the couth to gently rib, They're not going to know how to navigate those waters as smoothly.
Well, then the opposite of is, the next option is to balkanize. And that's where, everybody blue goes to a blue state, everybody red goes to a red state, and then we see what's left in the next 50 years. Yeah. And then I think a lot of blue state property will become pretty cheap and available after the inevitable collapse. But who knows?
Oh, there you have it.
Who knows? I think I've genuinely, I think it took longer than I wanted it to, but I'm genuinely happy that a lot of people who I did not expect to kind of come around to this idea of the system being against them have finally kind of opened their eyes.
I think more and more people are talking about it. I mean, look at that thing you sent me, that Tucker Carlson thing. Mm-hmm. Like, how many millions of people do you think heard that?
A lot.
I think that shit, we should link that in.
Well,
I liked how he was talking about, like, that we're being lied to, and then the lies are being perpetuated, and that they're making us say lies to fall, you know what I mean?
That we know our lies.
That we know our lies, to like kind of with the whole like men women thing,
just so you know who's in charge. I'm gonna make you say something that I don't believe, and I know you don't believe, but I'm gonna make you say it anyway.
Men can get pregnant.
Yep.
It's like, what?
Yeah, of course they can.
Yeah, you just got to go along with it.
Obviously,
making lies easier. You know what I mean?
But again, part of the tactic is Tucker Carlson. Just by saying those words before even watching it, people will be like, "Oh, he's a liar." He's a crazy
Tucker Carlson's deal? Wing-bat. Is he a crazy right wing bat? I don't know. I thought he sounded pretty smart on that thing.
He's undeniably smart. I
thought he sounded like seemed pretty honest and pretty like forthright.
I think Tucker Carlson is he's clearly right wing. He has a bias and he has an agenda. But I think as far as like showing his work is concerned, he's probably the best of the mainstream journalists at showing his work.
Right.
He has a perspective. He has a worldview. And he's certainly advocating for a perspective. So he's not unbiased by any stretch. But he's also not incorrect.
Who's a good unbiased example?
I think Matt Taibbi just went to he just did the Twitter files, and then he went before Congress, and he was a far left-wing guy for a long time. He was the editor of Rolling Stone, and now Democrats absolutely hate him, and they're going after him for exposing the Twitter files. And he's sitting here going, wait a minute, do you guys care more about protecting the United States security state, than you do what's right? This is the weird thing for people. This was a Bush-Cheney initiative. The Patriot Act was this neocon, Rumsfeld, Cheney, Bush's, this kind of like Soviet era, Cold War era, restriction of civil rights, but we need it because we're in a war. And we did it with the Patriot Act in 2001, and it's still going. Now it's being used against United States citizens.
Yeah.
We got Merrick Garland, more concerned with, parents going to
I don't know who that is. Merrick Garland.
Attorney General.
Of where?
United States.
Really? Wow.
Yep. He's more concerned with, parents going to PTA meetings, and espousing anti-government rhetoric, than he is with the actual government lying. Right? Like they're only concerned about their own power. And that's I guess the idea is
who he was
vote
talking
him out.
Was that who he was Tucker Carlson was talking about, saying he's that you'd rather have a DA more concerned with integrity than intelligence?
Yeah, he's like the top prosecutor he's like the top legal guy in America.
Okay.
Right? And it's a remarkably powerful position. He can appoint district attorneys, he can appoint federal prosecutors. It's a really, really powerful position. That's kind of how the government runs now, because these are not like elected positions. So one of the ways that, the quote unquote deep state or permanent Washington, whatever you want to call it, aka Illuminati, whatever you want to call it,
is being appointed.
Yes. And these appointees,
so they're unelected.
Correct. And then these district attorneys decide who to prosecute and who not. Right? Like you said it earlier. A criminal is somebody who's convicted.
Yeah, been caught.
Somebody who's been caught and convicted. I mean, if somebody decides this company did a criminal activity, FTX, but they donated to the right people, and all of a sudden they're not being brought up on charges, right? That's the DA. The DA and the federal prosecutors, those are people that are appointed. Those are people that decide.
A DA is appointed?
In some places, a DA, a district attorney, will be appointed.
What about the big one, the one you're talking about? He's elected, no?
Who, the attorney general?
Yeah.
No, appointed by the president. It's a cabinet position, same as Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense. We don't vote on any of these positions, which is something maybe that's maybe something we'd like to look into changing.
Yeah.
Imagine you had a cabinet that it didn't work. They used to do it like this, and it actually didn't work.
Why?
So maybe, the president. So the way it started in America was the president is who won the election, and the vice president is who came in second.
Right.
And then, Adams and Jefferson hated each other, and they would actively try to undermine each other. And they learned pretty early on, no, we can't have that.
All right, so there shouldn't be a default position, but maybe you can have people running for each spot.
I would love two presidents. I would love a president and a prime minister. I think the job's too big for one person. I would love a president who is focused on international affairs. And it's an international gig, it's a global gig, and it's global geopolitics. And then like a prime minister who's focused on domestic affairs.
Right.
Because I think that those are two completely different jobs that need two completely different mentalities. Sure. I think the president who does
it'd be so much delegating. The president must have to delegate so much.
Absolutely.
Incredible amount.
Yeah.
To try and cover all the even just to cover domestic affairs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There must be a shit ton of delegating. Now we got the other half of foreign affairs, and all the other shit he must have to. It's crazy.
I saw a guy on Jocko Willink talking about he worked in the CIA and he would put together the.
I don't think that's his last name.
Willink, right? Is it Willink?
I'd say just call him Jocko.
Jocko?
Just to be safe.
Willink? Anyway.
You got it? You know how to say it?
I think it's Willink.
Willink?
Would you call him
Willink?
Willink. I think it's Willink.
I got the N and the I backwards. My bad, Jocko. Jocko's badass. But he had the CIA guy who was one of the people who put together the president's briefing. And they've got, like, to your point, they've got an entire world of information that they have to put into, like, this 5-page max briefing. And one of the things that, like, drove the CIA crazy about Trump is he was like, I want 1 page. Give me 1 page. And they're like, we have a lot of shit that you need to know about. He's like, 1 page. Give me 1 page. And, like, some days, the CIA briefing would sit on the desk, and the guys would be like, they'd look where it is on the desk to see if he's even looked at it. And
like put it in the exact corner to see if it's been moved.
Exactly.
And touched, yeah.
And Trump eventually, he really hated the CIA. He didn't get along with the CIA. He didn't trust the CIA. The CIA probably, this is just one man's opinion, probably colluded to get rid of Trump. The CIA did not like Trump. They out of everybody, the CIA is who wanted him gone the most. And then they
more than the blue hairs?
The blue hairs were useful idiots for the CIA. It's something called a color revolution. People should Google that. Google a color revolution. We do it all over the world. We meddle in elections everywhere. We meddle in elections in Africa, in the Middle East, in South America. We have been doing it for half a century, since Eisenhower, and I believe the tactics are remarkably similar to what happened in 2020. It's called a color revolution. And tell me in the comments after this if you think I'm full of shit on my tinfoil hat or if it's a oh my god moment for you. But yeah, do a little research on that. Where are you going, bud?
I gotta use the bathroom.
All right. Well, what do we got in the comments here, Omri? And then we got to wrap up.
Let me look at that real quick. I think that one of the better questions we've had so far. Let me just find it real quick. Hang on. This one is from Runaway Slav. I think it's an interesting thing. If you get penalized for being accused of something that you didn't do and the truth comes out, do you think you should get a free pass to do whatever you were accused of?
No, but we do have a big problem with now people being guilty until proven innocent and people being guilty in the court of, in what is it called, guys? The court of public opinion.
Court of public opinion.
In the court of public, I mean, we saw it with Duke lacrosse. Those kids were absolutely skewered. Duke lacrosse. The story turned out to be completely nonsense. We have a real serious problem in our current media environment of treating the accused as the guilty. And yeah, it's a big thing. If anybody's ever been in a relationship with somebody that always accused them of cheating, eventually you're like, I might as well cheat. If I'm getting if I get all the hate and none of the good stuff, what am I doing here? I think this is something that the social justice community has to be very, very, very careful about when they push this all white people are racist narrative, because 99% of white people are not racist. But if the idea is by being a good person, and this goes to the woke thing, this goes to the PC thing. If I get nothing for being a good person, what's my incentive for being a good person? Like, eventually you're going to convince people to be the very monsters you're treating them as. It's a very interesting dilemma that you run into.
Man, Fangu, I really had to urinate.
Yeah.
I'd been holding out for like 40 minutes.
Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, I drink a lot of water, bro. Very well hydrated. It's hard to be the most hydrated and the least peeing. You know what I mean?
Huh.
Think about it.
Yin and yang.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to take us out on today, bud?
Is there anything good that I missed when I was...
Court of public opinion. Like what? Runaway Slav had a question.
I said anything good.
Next question, Omri. What do you got in the chat?
I'm just kidding, Slav.
What do you got? What else you got in the chat, Omri? Before we take her off,
I got two quick questions. Uh-huh. One is, how many subscribers do you need to start doing live watch-alongs for UFC events?
Okay.
And the second one is, out of the other hosts of Gas Digital, who do you most want on your show?
Man, there's a lot of Gas Digital friends that we haven't had on. Obviously, we got our OG Skanks.
Yep.
You know, I'm sure Gerard and Dave Smith could have quite a talk there.
Yep. Forget the hosts. I want C-Dumps on. I want Ricky Ricardo on. I want Wrecking It on. I want Unended Grimes on, man.
I noticed you didn't say Runaway Slav though.
Runaway Slav. I want Runaway Slav, man. We have some awesome people in the comments that are always coming around. Alexander Matthews. Hey, Allie Matthews. That's who I want. I mean, I'm more interested with everyday people. You know what I'm saying? But I would love to sit and listen to Mickey and Bisbing talk fighting. That'd be cool. I love the Gas Digital people. They're very funny guys. Godfrey, I find to be very, very funny. I'd love to talk social justice with those guys. We should have
Lewis on here to talk some shit when we're back in New York, whenever that may be.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch. Who's that guy? Mike Figs. I did a podcast with him with Shannon.
Mm-hmm. Shannon's awesome.
Shannon's awesome. We should get him on. He wants us to do his too.
What I want to know from the audience, from the commenters, is who their favorite guest of ours has been, and if there's anybody that they want to have on. If you guys want a specific guest on, leave it in the comments, and we'll reach out and get it done.
Yeah, the last time we asked this question, we got a lot of Bo Deedle.
A lot of Bo Deedle. We could work on that.
I already did.
Hey, Mickey G. That's why you're the legend.
Go back to New York.
That's why you're the great one.
Yeah.
Mickey, anything to close out on?
Nah.
All right, then.
Nothing.
For Gas Digital, I am Gerard Michaels. That is Mickey Gall. He is Omri.
I feel like we should do a couple more minutes since I got up and peed. I feel so fresh now. I'm sitting there listening to the geopolitical landscape while pinching myself over here.
I do want to say I met a fan of ours in Daytona, a guy who watches the show, and he said his favorite moment of the show is I went on one of those 10-minute filibusters like I do. And I was like, what's your thought on this, Mick? And Mickey goes, I don't know, man. You just said so much shit. I was like, I don't know. He said that was the funniest shit he ever saw. It was like everybody was Mickey in that moment, man. That was like, you talking about so many things.
Yeah, and then you turn to me and you're like, so no. And then you even double
down.
Like, no. Like, tell me about it. I was like, do I agree about, like, there's like 9 bullet points like I need to address here. It's like, and then you're gonna try and like hold me to like no, come on, give me your like. There's no response. There's no just one response. There's no. I can't rap. I need to talk for 15 minutes and probably to try and. So wait. So you said this, and this, and you said why'd you say who's monsters? Democrats are monsters. And wait. And what is the blah, 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 blah? Yeah. Like, no, I guess I don't disagree about this. I guess I do. I agree with you on this. Yeah. And then So do you trust? No, and the point of it, I even remember it was like you said something about the Democrats being monsters. You said something about do you trust the government? Which is like I don't think all Democrats are monsters. I don't trust the government. So it's like, is that a no? Like, is that a yes?
Democrat politicians. I know a lot of Democrats who are great people.
Yeah. Do you think all the politicians of them are bad?
They're in bad shape. As a party, they are in bad shape. Yeah.
Who do you want to get on as a guest? I know you said you like trying to be the man of the people here. You said you some regular people like who?
Well, I won't gas them up. We got to get out of here. We're up on against the time. We'll talk about it next time. Love y'all for Gas Digital. For Gas Digital, I'm Gerard Michaels. That's Mickey Gall.
We just got started.
And we will see you guys